Photograph, Issa, Lakeith, Stanfield, and Lil Rel.
Shouts out Stella Meghie.
Of course. So Rel is here to talk about that, but as we bring up in the interview, they're all kind of like a little coming up as a new crew.
Yeah.
Like a new generation of black creatives moving in the same space.
Fact. It's like a 2020 version of the Black Pack.
Let's get it.
Lil Rel, thank you for coming to the podcast.
What up, Playboys?
How you
What's
doing?
What's going on?
I'm good, man.
Rel, are you a Dipset fan?
Yeah.
Because every time I talk about you, I want to just say Hell Rel. I don't know if you ever heard that before.
I know who Hell Rel is. That's a weird connection, but I am a huge Dipset fan. I was literally bumping Cam's new album.
Oh, word?
And I tagged him, and matter of fact, I need to hit him too. He hit me, DM me, gave me his number, said when I'm in New York, let's link up.
Okay.
I just thought about that. So yeah, I'm a huge Cameron fan.
Okay.
Word?
Like he didn't probably, because people, when I tell people I'm huge fans of them, they be like, no, I'm like, no, fam. Like I'm a legit
fan.
I'm a crazy Dipset fan.
No, same. I mean, Dipset when I was in high school was like the shit.
Look how I'm dressed.
Yeah, I look
like I'm kind of from Harlem. Yeah, that's from that Dipset.
For the listeners, Rel has a good Harlem fit on today.
Was Dipset big in Chicago?
Yeah. Like Cam was really plugged out west on the west side of Chicago.
He used to get in Ohio.
Big facts.
Yeah.
Big facts.
And he used to hang out with all the west side street cats. Like you'll go to a club and Cam is walking in with cats. You be like, dang, he really be hanging out in the project.
He's out here.
Yeah.
Out here crazy. You want to get into this Photograph. We both seen it. Dope film. I feel it's one of those films where I love how black it is, but it doesn't have to say we're black people in a rom-com. Like you're just living in that. What can you talk about? What was it for you that drew you to the project?
Big fan of Stella Meghie. Mm-hmm. She's a great director and writer. The movie The Weeknd was one of my favorite movies last year.
Yeah.
Plus, I wanted to do something romance-wise, so I was telling my agents and manager, like, "Yo, we got to find." I'm a big fan of rom-coms.
I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah, that's like a thing. I guess I'm telling people now, but that's a thing for me.
What are some of your favorite?
Yeah,
rom-coms?
we need top 5 at least.
Boomerang's number 1.
Classic.
Fever Pitch.
Okay.
Wait, Fever Pitch with Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah.
Yo,
I love that.
I don't know who I brought that movie up to recently, and someone was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? The movie's so charming. Like, come on, man.
It's so good.
That's like pre-Tonight Show Fallon, too, back,
Word.
I mean, Pretty Woman is a rom-com.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
What else? Definitely Maybe.
Okay.
I could probably do a top 10, but
talk about it. We'll have to do something for the site with you.
No, I'm for real. Like I'm a huge fan. Like Love Jones and Love Basketball, all those classics.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the Fever Pitch it's right under Boomerangs.
That's
Fever
hilarious.
Pitch is great.
I watch it all the time.
It used to be on HBO like every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell Jimmy this all the time. Like, yo, like I love that movie, man. Like I want to not remake it, but I want to do a Cubs version of it. I have a story in my head.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I want to do Fever Pitch too.
Or something with basketball, maybe.
No, I want to do
keep it baseball.
I want to keep, because when the Cubs won the World Series, that was such a big, like that's what made that work.
Huge moment,
if you know the back story of the Fever Pitch was that they didn't know Boston was going to win the World Series. They had to add that in the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that
because it was happening. Yeah,
That's nuts.
Yeah. So I don't know. I got an idea.
Yeah, and it can't be basketball. He was already in Uncle Drew.
You're right.
We
You're
gotta
right.
diversify.
Let me tell you something. I do have a basketball movie idea based on a true story of when I was a teenager coaching this team.
Okay.
Against the dope dealers team. And I had a team for all the good kids in the neighborhood. Like it's a true story. We lost the championship, but then like one of the dope dealers nephews ended up playing on my team. It's a true story. That's what's crazy about this. But I think I want to make it a film.
Some above the rim shit there.
Yeah, for real. All I did was recruit all the good kids in the neighborhood. I was 15.
Do that. You should do not necessarily rebooting above the rim, but let's go.
No, this version is so real in what it is. It's Chicago too. It's a Chicago story. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking about it.
Talk about it. Knowing you're from Chicago, but you're also very Chicago centric. Like, it was dope to see you pull up in South Side.
Yeah.
And you're in the Chi as well. How? Obviously, are you LA based now? Or are you still living in Chicago?
No, I live in LA now, but I try to support all the Chicago projects, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if they ask me, I text them. A lot of times it'd be like, congratulations. They'd be like, Rel, you'll come do it. Like, yeah, we can make it happen.
Word.
So, like, the South, that's such a funny show.
It's hilarious. I watched it, and I was so happy that Comedy Central, shouts out to them, they gave us all of the screeners. So when I watched the first episode, I'm like, yo, this is funny, this is quirky, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then the next day, the rest of the episodes came up. I binged them that day.
That's crazy. It's so funny, man.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny watching them do that show, because, I had a sitcom. We did multicam, and me and my homegirl was talking about this a couple of days ago, because I'm coming back to TV, but I can't tell y'all what it is yet.
Damn.
Okay.
Come back and let us know.
When it's time.
Once it's announced, but
Word.
just which is gonna be crazy. But it just the single cam life, man. I don't know if multicam gives us enough space to be the funny we can be. And I like when you do single cam, you kind of could breathe a little bit where it don't have to be joke.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So like, yeah, I think single cam. I did the multicam thing because it was always something I wanted to do, but I may not go back into that space.
Right. I was gonna ask, was multicam something that you gravitated towards just because of like what we grew up on? Those kind of sitcoms.
I mean, that's the same reason I went to HBO for the special. Netflix offered more money, right? But I think, just coming up watching comedy, if you had an HBO special, that was a big deal.
Yes, huge.
And for me, that was always the dream, was to get an HBO special. So I was like, all right, I'm going to HBO. So I try to do most of the stuff most of the projects I try to do are like, it's kind of for like 12-year-old me. So I'm just doing all the stuff that he would want to see me in. And, I mean, once again, that's why I did a movie like The Photograph. Man, I like that we're a new group too. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the same.
Yeah.
The same old. You know what I mean? It's like, Morris Chestnut can't be 35 forever.
Facts. No, big facts. It's definitely.
Even though I say that them dudes don't age. Shout out to those brothers, because Real Estate looks younger than me.
Yeah.
And Bill don't age. So the dudes don't age. Don't get me wrong.
If he walked into the mall right now, all the women would be flocking.
Dude, it's uncomfortable hanging out with Lorenz Tate and Bill Bellamy. You got the aunties and the kids.
It's too much going on. There's way too much going on there.
Blair Underwood, shout out to him. He don't age neither. I went to see the Soldiers play, and he comes out, right? He got his shirt off button. And the aunties, they couldn't even help. You could tell they was trying not to cheer. They was like, all you heard was one, and everybody went crazy, and he just standing there just owning it. I'm like, dang, I wish I could just walk on stage with my shirt half button.
Command that energy.
And act like it ain't happening. Just keep doing my lines. I messed the whole play. I'm like, yeah, y'all want to see some more? Forget the play. This is my play now. Chest out. I'm legitimately living a dream, man. I'm having so much fun doing what I love to do for real. And I like the fact that I don't necessarily, how people force themselves to be busy? That's not me. I let it flow. You know what I mean? I don't say yes to everything, which it may seem like it, but I tend to pick what I pick, you know what I'm saying? And I want to work with like dope, like people I can learn from, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I was wondering, because I know, there's certain people who get into the business early. We were just talking to, a certain A-lister. I don't think we can mention that because we don't want to get out of sequence yet. But, he started very young. And, for you, like you were popping in the comedy world. It's very, so I didn't know if it was a situation where it was like, shit, they want me, let me go out for everything. But it's good to hear that you're
No, I've always done everything in my pace, bro. Like I started stand up at like 19, 20. And I just been going with the flow. I ain't, because you have to have these conversations, because people, especially other comedians sometimes, if you kind of pass them in a way, they like, what did you do differently that I ain't doing? like I don't know, be ready every time they call me.
Facts.
Because I've seen it, more than anything. I've seen cats just not be ready when they were called, and I've always been ready. Every time you called me for a showcase, whatever it was, I've always been ready for it. You know what I'm saying? So like, just be ready. It ain't no secret sauce. I mean, yeah, you got to be good.
Yeah, it helps that you steal the show and things like
you
Get Out.
You got to be good. Like even with Get Out, like I remember after Get Out, I didn't come into my own for real, especially on the acting side. I felt like I didn't want to disrespect nobody, I didn't want to step on nobody's toes. It wasn't until all the stuff I did last year, that's why like with the Photograph, all these movies, I feel very proud of the way I performed in them, because I'd stopped caring, I stopped being in my head about it. Like, man, I got to do me.
Word, yeah.
And you do that, you almost make everybody better. You know what I'm saying? So 100%. Like like the movie me and Kevin did, Kevin Hart, Fatherhood, that comes out next year in January.
Okay, talk that talk.
I think it's his, I think it might be his best film.
Wow.
But I was able to push him, you know what I'm saying, if he admit to it or not. But it was cool to do that, because I think he's dope. And like to really push him, and once we got that, it was beautiful chemistry. You know what I'm saying? So
comedy battling.
It's not even just comedy battle. It's because he's dramatic in it, but it's just pushing each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we can make this funnier, we can make this doper, we can make this more sincere. And I actually look forward to probably doing more films with Kev.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's crucial too, because a guy like him, he can do it in his sleep, so he probably can if someone doesn't push him.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things I realized, I mean, this is real talk. I'm always way too honest, but
Let's get it.
When we was doing that, I was just like, yo, nobody ever really pushed you in these other movies? That's interesting.
No one said we could do
like,
another
nobody
take.
really nobody be like, hey man, let's try it different. Like, let's do this differently. You know what I'm saying? And I like the fact that he was cool with it. You know, and that's one of the things I learned too. You know, before I do these films now, I talk to these directors like, hey man, if you ain't cool with me changing stuff, let me know now, because I'm going to.
You mentioned Eddie and Martin earlier. I wonder, Eddie's a guy he's getting back in the swing of things, and he's supposed to be doing comedy. Is that someone that you've been able to meet? Do you guys get to chill at all?
So that is the only person that I look up to that I haven't had a one-on-one conversation
Oh, wow.
with.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's coming, I've been speaking a lot about him in different things, so hopefully he's looking at it. I'm like cool with Keenan, Robert Townsend, like they're my dudes. I text him. Yeah. So like Eddie's the only, which I know is coming. Like I know it's like, yo, let's just rap. Like, I think he's brilliant. He's really, that's who I like, the way I do comedy, the storytelling, the character work, everything is based off watching Eddie Murphy.
That makes sense.
And then like, as time went on, then like it's between him and Bernie Mac. Is like, Bernie so funny, but also like his acting was crazy good. Like Bernie, whatever movie he was in, he just killed it. So like I've always tried to mix it in between Eddie and Bernie, and then like a little Robin Williams. Because I think Robin Williams was a brilliant dramatic actor. As silly as that dude was. Man, that he can. Comics are great. That's why, the Oscars, I was talking about this earlier on today's show, but like, I didn't watch it. Outside of just the diversity part of it, it's still like this weird thing against comedians. Like Adam Sandler should have been nominated for an Oscar.
We've been saying that.
It don't even make sense.
100%.
I'm like, dang, and you're a white dude, they still didn't give you.
That's the story. That should be the story.
That's why I'm like, maybe they don't like comedians being good at other stuff because they don't do it. I don't know why. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
I just think people be uncomfortable just about like newness.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? And I like this year, to me, I believe this year, even more personally for myself, like it represents, like, no, I'm showing y'all, like, the special was the first thing. Now these movies, it's like, nah, I want to be considered one of the best to do this. And that's a tough place to get. I didn't ever speak like that at first, but then one day I was like, so that's why I wanted to do the special. I got annoyed watching other people's specials, and they're like, oh, these people are great. I'm like, this ain't good. This is terrible. Can I show y'all what stand-up is?
Word.
Here we go. And I did it, and it's like the films, everything is all tied into that. I'm like, nah, I literally want to be considered one of the best, and not just somebody we all like, Rel's cool. Like, nah, no, I'm not. Not just cool, fam. I bring it.
I don't think people can deny it. I was looking on your Instagram. You had posted an image of you and Jordan Peele on New Year's Eve, and you mentioned it because that was kind of like the kickoff point for both of you, but you also made a note that Tiffany had taken the photo. And I remember when I talked to Tiffany for Keanu, she mentioned you getting her the Carmichael show audition. Obviously within that 4 or 5 year time frame, you both have you're doing big things, she's doing big things. Like, do you two ever just like kick back on a patio or somewhere, just be like, what the fuck? Like, how did this happen?
We have some of the most beautiful emotional conversations sometimes. Like, we're like, I think maybe last week might have been one of them.
Wow.
Where we just kind of run down things, you know what I'm saying? And I remember when Girls Trip came out and I went to a screening and I had to FaceTime her right away. I was so happy for her because you saw it like, oh, this is... Me and Hannibal went down to New Orleans to see a film. And I remember the scene where she walks in with Queen Latifah, Jada, and we was just on the side like, yo, Tiff about to be a star. Bro.
Yeah, that was the moment. Yeah, that was the moment.
So to see it all happen, but it's that constant support. She hits me up all the time, always telling me how proud she is of me, and you gonna get it. I think she speaks up a lot of stuff. I think her new thing for me was, you gonna make $20 million this year. I'm like, all right.
Okay.
I think that might happen.
It might.
I think it's there. It's getting there. But she just be saying stuff like that. And a lot of times it happens like that. I mean, that's literally, I remember when when I was still married and my ex-wife was doing her hair in our living room in Chicago. And she was like, "What we gonna play? We gonna play husband and wife or something." This is before the Carmichael show.
Word.
She just spoke all this stuff up. We're gonna be in all these movies, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." But she wasn't lying, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like insanely proud of her. Like that's like, I just never. I guess I always look at her, and I don't necessarily look at myself. But like, that was my first LA friend.
Oh, wow.
She would pick me up that loud Geo Metro. I couldn't wait to hear that car pull up at the airport. Because, you know, back then, people don't pick up people no more. Everybody take Ubers and stuff like this. But, like, so somebody pick you up, they really care about you.
Word, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially at LAX.
Dude, I was so happy to see her. But I never seen nobody work harder than that girl. She would do stand-up at night. We would do a bunch of shows. But during the day, she'd be auditioning all day long.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah.
And I've never seen somebody who deserved it more than any. She's a superstar. And it just makes me so happy to know, like, oh, she really worked her butt off from where she came from.
Yeah, her story is wild to see where she is now, yeah.
To watch it, it felt like I had a first, like even everything she was going through with her ex-husband. Tiff is just one of the strongest people I've ever met in my life. And I try to make sure I always tell her that, because now she's in the superstar space of things, right?
Yeah.
So now everything has been judged, every move, and I always try to make sure that she's, she feels level-headed with everything.
100%.
Yeah.
Damn, well, Rel, I feel like we could talk to you all day.
No, I don't mind talking, like, long as it's chill. Like, when people be having weird conversations, man, I'll be like, I don't even know how to not tell them it's not weird. Like, it's weird, fam. I was at a bar and a dude did that. Like, which sometimes that's the only thing I hate about LA sometimes is that people feel so comfortable invading your space. Like, I was chilling. He spoke and he was excited. Wait a minute, Lil Rel. I'm like, all right, yeah, it's good seeing you, brother. And then he came over, literally, like, I'm minding my business. He just slid next to me like, so look, man, like we've been talking. So how you gonna come over here as if we've been talking?
That's crazy.
I've been sitting here minding my business, just chilling. Because sometimes I like to like listen to music and just chill, like sit in the corner. And he went into this rant like, yo, I'm in the business, and what advice do you have? I said, bro, let me be honest with you. This ain't the place for that.
Yeah.
It was like right after Kobe there, like Kobe just
Oh,
died.
wow,
Like,
yeah.
what are we doing?
Yeah.
Leave me alone. We all here because we all sad. I don't want to have to talk about the industry. Kobe's gone.
So I'm assuming that hit you hard, right?
Man,
Yeah.
it you know why? Because I'm 40, right? And when Kobe was doing his thing, at the same time, I feel like I was coming into my own as a person. So you kind of grow up with somebody in a way like, oh, we both had the same ambitious, just these dreamers.
Word.
And, you're just seeing how he developed after everything. I like how he owned up to his mistakes and changed and became, because a lot of people do stuff and they try to come back and then they don't learn a lesson. They just try to come back.
Word.
Right? Kobe championed and changed everything. Life is short. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And that's why, like, I try to go as hard as I can. We don't know when this expiration date is coming.
100%.
You know what I mean? So you got to go hard. Whoever listening, don't go hard. And go hard don't mean kick it. You know what I'm saying? It's different ways to go hard. Like, if you ever want to give back, you ever want to do right, just do it.
Yeah.
You ain't got to. I'm 40, bro. I know I'm in my second half of my life, so I'm like, let me get this together. That's why, like, hopefully, I don't know, hopefully I booed up in another year or so, 'cause I can keep getting in these streets like this.
All right, Rel, thank you for coming through.
Rel,
Really
thank you,
appreciate
man.
it.
Thanks for having me, Playboys.
Much
doubt.
appreciated.
No, thanks.
If you enjoyed this conversation with Lil Rel, check out the full interview on the Watch Less podcast. The Watch Less podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts.